Chicago, frankly, is running out of money. If you guys don't know what's going on with Chicago, the Windy City is doing a lot of migrant-related stuff, which has caused them to lose intensive amounts of businesses. There's a huge amount of businesses outflowing from Chicago, from medium, small, into the giants like Citadel. Many are going to other places like Miami, dubbed the Wall Street of the South. Seems like Chicago is really losing its edge. Even some of the most prestigious financial institutions are now leaving Chicago. This is no longer the nice city of finance. This is a really crazed up city. They're going broke. There's migrants everywhere, and they can't take care of anyone right now. Check this out. It's the biggest changes so far from the southern border. We're seeing a lot of people and a lot of migrants being shifted to Illinois, which is where Chicago is located. It's a lot more than other places you could clearly see. The most popular ones are going to be Chicago right here, Denver, and then New York City. These are going to be the cities where they became sanctuary areas. They gave out free paid debit cards, free food, free hotel stays. Hey, it's pretty nice actually. Check this out. South Side Chicago residents speak out against city helping migrants over them. Now, a lot of Chicago residents are okay with the migrants. There's really no problem. Many American cities were built by migrants, but it's one thing to have 2,000 to 3,000 migrants that you're trying to get into the city. And there's another thing when you have like 50,000 migrants, and the migrants are spending so much money that the South Side of Chicago is rampant with crime, rampant with shoplifting, theft, robberies, so much so that this is one of the worst places to live. There's food deserts, there's restaurant deserts, and there's even pharmacy deserts right now. People got to drive several minutes to get out of their zip code just to get anything, okay? South Side Chicago residents are done. They're very angry about this. They're like, if only just a small trickle of that $100 to $300 million just trickle down to the South Side of Chicago, it will actually be an okay place to live. Check it. And also this, Chicago resident speaks out straight up on the migrant crisis. During a recent council meeting, Jessica criticized the allocation of resources, highlighting that she clearly sees a prioritization of migrants over legacy residents. She also argued that they have been hoodwinked, ran, and bamboozled by a lot of these different politicians. She's done, okay? This is probably one of the most intelligent women I've seen so far. She knows what's going on in her community. She knows that her community is being neglected. You know, there's a lot of working people in the South Side of Chicago, and many of them are paying taxpayer dollars every single day. Do they get anything from the taxpayer dollars, that money pool? Absolutely not. I think of all the places in Chicago, I'm pretty sure the South Side probably needs the most money. Okay, there's food deserts, there's crime. What if they invested $100 million in the South Side of Chicago? I think it will actually be a pretty good place to live. I really do, right? You have more police patrols, make it safer. Oh, more businesses pop up. You give incentives to local businesses, more of them pop up, and real estate prices will actually do pretty well. And that will actually make the South Side a somewhat decent place to live. It's really that easy. But have Chicago ever invested heavily in the South Side of Chicago? Absolutely not. I think the first time they've ever shelled out like over $100 million on anything is the migrant crisis. And no wonder community leaders like Jessica Jackson are just absolutely frustrated about the situation. They see that their communities get little to no help. Even this gentleman says the same exact thing. They're like, we don't get anything. Nothing is trickled down to us. And the South Side has always been the bad place. But it could change if just a little bit of money comes down. And no wonder this community organizer is so mad about this. We're already seeing a little bit of protest, a little bit of chaos in Chicago, and people are fed up. They're not taking this anymore. Not to mention, I'm not even sure if Chicago can recover the hundreds of millions of dollars that they're spending on the migrant crisis. The reason why is many of their high-end, very, very wealthy financial institutions are going to places like Miami. Miami, in fact, is already showing off its first trading floor. This is a symbolic step to become a massive international community of brokers, hedge fund owners, and wealthy businessmen. This shows to Chicago and New York City that, hey, there's a third player in here, which is us. And Miami is one of the few cities left in America where the word normal actually applies. A fantastic city, okay? The way they run things is great, it's efficient, and it's not chaotic like Denver, New York, or Chicago. This is the place to be in 2024. And plus, with the trading floor now, the streets are no longer filled with tourists, influencers, none of those guys anymore. The streets are filled with hedge fund managers, banking, brokers, those guys. let's see what happens. Can Chicago recover? We don't really know. But right now, they're already spending large on the migrant crisis. There's still a massive increase of population. A lot of migrants are flooding in. And of course, poor communities in Chicago basically get nothing. See you guys later.